And let's talk about the pressure coming into this fight. You seem to absorb it all so brilliantly. You seem to enjoy every single second from the opening bout. The first fight, there was no crowd in attendance. What's it been like now to defend your title, not just here on the second Wicked and Bad show, but in front of all these people?
Lightweight, man. You man gas me up, so don't worry. Love you all. Mad thing.
And one final question before we let you go. Listen, what's next? What's next for Likkleman?
Alright, all you short men out there, you know my face. Likkleman, Instagram. Do your damn thing and give it a go, because I'm a solid fam.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it one more time, your champion, Likkleman!
So Likkleman comes past me, still bouncing. He's done 6 rounds. He looks like he could do another 6. Carl, before the fight, you said he looks like a supreme athlete. He's just skipped past us there after 6 rounds of dominance, 60-54 on all of the cards. He's got himself in good shape, and it looks like he's here to stay in this game.
Yeah, he's here to stay. He's caused a massive problem for the matchmaker. Who does he fight next? Like, you know, I think they're going to have to score the world hard and wide to find somebody that can compete with his level of athleticism at 50 kilo.
Well, we'll talk about him plenty, but let's talk about his opponent, because he came past and he looked exactly out of the ring like he looked in the ring. He took quite a pasting for 6 rounds, but he was a brave game opponent. He did very well and deserves a huge amount of credit for hearing that final bell.
If there's a man in here that doesn't have respect for Wopke after watching those 6 rounds, then I'd like to have a chat with him about his priorities. You know, I think that I can't say enough about him. You know, it's hard enough coming to someone's backyard and to shit punishment, and honestly, like, there's moments in there where your body wants to continue, but your mind's like, I don't know how much I can do it. And the easiest place to go, there's always a soft place to land. There's always a referee wanting to save yourself from yourself, but there wasn't a second that Wopke even anticipated or thought about that, or that never even came into his realm of being. So, his stop rose, the whole sport stop rose. Likkleman was unbelievable.
Brian, he's done it again.
Done it again, and done it in Likkleman fashion. Unbelievable stuff. Right from the start, we asked the question before the fight, what difference would the crowd make? What difference would the pressure of having to come in for a second time defend that title? We've just seen him absorb it with glee, absolutely soak up every single second of that and deliver a performance which was unreal. You look at the technique, first of all, again, very high level, stepping back, getting Wopke to walk onto his punches. You look at the output on top of that. You look at the amount of strikes per round he was throwing, not just pitter-patter strikes looking to take your head off. It was for me a level up from what we saw last time. And credit to Wopke for surviving. I know Likkleman was looking for the finish, but even without the finish, that was a stellar performance.
Do you know, they used to call Carl Froch the Cobra, and they called him a Cobra just because how difficult his jab was to deal with, and it came from so low, like a thwack. So invariably, my punch comes from my shoulder, and it's easier to defend in a straight line because your hands are by your face. But you watch Likkleman's jab, it comes from his waist, so he's like coming from underneath your vision. So like, that was the tool that won him the fight. It made it impossible for Wopke to deal with it. You know, Wopke's shoulders dexterity wasn't great enough that he could perhaps catch, move his head off the center line, and then Likkleman could not miss him with that jab, and that's what's really banged him up. All the shots after that were kind of just the beauty shots, really. He would have won the fight just with the jab alone.
Well, Super Bilal did describe him as the mini Prince Nazim, and that's what Naz was famous for. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the fight. Then you called it live. While it's fresh in the memory, talk us through what we see here from the first bell. Complete dominance. Just there, you can see the smile on his face, the confidence, trying to get his opponent on so he can get those big shots away. But you've talked about the control. What did you see here from the first bell?
I just love the tactics. I really love the tactics. You know, every man in the ground can throw a punch going forward, and they can throw it with power. But you know, if you can get them out of shape, make them go backwards, they become a small decimal of themselves. And you watch Likkleman, he rarely gets pushed backwards, which obviously makes him like honestly, the fatigue factor is pretty much zero if you're going forward. Like when you're getting backwards and running away and getting out of shape, it's like a different sport. Whereas in boxing, I'm in my stance throughout. You notice a lot of time Wopke gets hit, his like feet are together, he's falling over. That's so tiring for your body to keep up. And like Likkleman very rarely out of shape, front foot, but not trying to go first. He's on the front foot with intelligent pressure, looking to draw the lead, make Wopke fall short and make him pay. I just thought the tactics were amazing, like very, very, very good.
I think also within that fight, very early on, what we saw from Likkleman was he took the power very early of Wopka, and once he realized that there was nothing there that could really hurt him, that his whole demeanor, his whole confidence went up yet another level.
I think what we found as well, I want to mention a couple of things around fighting in the octagon, not on the ring. Wopka found himself up against the fence a few times, and we could see all the marking there on his face, on his shoulders, on his torso. But he swung himself out of trouble. He was a brave game opponent. It would have been easy to just wrap up and let the referee step in, but he always found a way out, and he heard that final bell. And we're going to see him there take another huge shot, but somehow managed to turn it round.
But look at his eyes when he's under this pressure. Sometimes when people are taking these big shots, they curl up, they hide behind their guard. Look at him, he's taking shots and he's looking straight back at Likkleman, trying to throw backs.
He's got that mentality of I'll show you. You can see it behind him. You know, even when he's stripping punishment, it's like, right, when you finish, I'm going to show you. When you're gone, I'm showing you. I'm showing you who the boss is in here. I'm showing you who the boss is in here. And I think if with other opponents that he's had, he's probably have a lot of success by virtue of that. But like with Likkleman, you've really got to get his respect, and he can only get his respect by hitting harder than him. I want to see somebody that can compete with him on an athletic level. I really do.
Also, in that huge octagon, it would have been easy for Wopka to try and find space. Likkleman cut that ring off and kept it at the distance that he wanted to for 6 rounds.
Again, that's credit to the footwork. It's an underappreciated part of the striking arts. People just see you throwing big hooks, nice tight jabs, strong shots. But the footwork, and especially in a cage that big, to be able to utilize it to cut them off, to back Wopka up into a position where he's in range and he's to cause damage, but out of range to avoid it. That's high-level stuff.
If you can't move your feet, you can't fight. And Likkleman proved again what he proved last year. That guy can fight, and that guy's here to stay. And I'm looking forward to seeing many a contender trying to come over here and take his crown off him. But I think we're going to see him reign supreme for many a year to come.
Well, it will be a brave man to step in, but he called them out at the end. He said anybody who fancies it can come and have it. He said that at the end of the first fight, and we find ourselves here. He's put the open invitation out again. We've got a worldwide audience. If you're watching and you fancy it, if you think you can perform at that level here, then get in touch. And it would be a brave person, either a person who really fancies it or a person who wants a payday, who's going to step in the ring with an athlete like that.
Well, it's the platform as well. This is the other thing people are looking at, because after winning platform, we have just seen, again, they're not just matching up somebody that Likkleman who is going to walk through or smash. They're bringing real contenders, fighters